I want to share a simple solution with you that has absolutely turned my life around and helped me get over my past and pursue my future. Now, I share in detail in my new book on Make Your Dreams Bigger Than Your Memories. One of the solutions that I share in this book in detail is 5 simple words that have absolutely changed my life. Now, when my husband and I were on the brink of a divorce, we were actually separated and about to just give up on everything. I started seeing a marriage counselor, and that marriage counselor, Dr. Farmer, he said 5 words to me that I want you to get ingrained in your head. All he said was fight fear with a plan. See, fight fear with a plan. 5 words. It's that simple. Now, the reason it's so profound, though, is because you have got to have a plan. You've got to get your eyes focused on something, or they will automatically go back to where they're familiar. Now, if you're trying to get over your past, maybe it's painful attachments to your past, memories that just still keep replaying in your head, and you're just wondering, how in the world do I get these memories to shut up? How do I get over all these thoughts and these emotions from my past? You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a plan. You know, they say failing to plan is planning to fail. You know, every successful person you see, they got there by having a plan. It wasn't just one encounter with God, one moment, one supernatural moment, and then they became successful. No, they got there by planning. And you've got to have a plan too. Now, at that time in my life, when my husband and I were separated, I had no vision for my life. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know if we'd still be married by next year. I didn't know if we were going to get back together. I didn't know if I was just going to run away from the call of God and the plan of God for my life. I was just confused. So I didn't have a big plan for my life. I just needed a plan to get up tomorrow morning and do something to get my mind and get my eyes on something instead of my past. And you know, I was reading about Mary Kay, you know, the cosmetic genius. And it said that, you know, she was estimated her worth, I believe, was $300 million. They said, you know, what do you attribute your success to? And she said, just the simple fact that every day I she wrote down the 6 most important things to do each day, and she did them. She wrote down the 6 most important things each day and then actually did them. And look how successful she was. So I want to teach you how to get a plan for your life, starting with a simple plan for each day. Now, before I tell you some of the areas that I began getting plans in, I want to tell you this about goals. Number 1, when you write your goals, your plans, your vision, your dreams, whatever it is, no matter how big or how small, goals must be in writing. You know, it's been said that goals that are not written down, they're just wishes. And it's very unlikely they'll even happen if you don't write them down. God even stressed the importance of that in His Word in Habakkuk 2:2. He said, write the vision, make it plain on paper. It's that simple. Write the vision, make it plain on paper. And you know, it's been proven through different researches that people who actually write their goals, they earn 9 times as much as those who don't. They earn 9 times as much just by simply having your goals in writing. It's been proven that people have become millionaires. They're more likely to become a millionaire by having their goals in writing. So number 1, it's got to be written. Number 2, goals must be measurable. You know, there's a big difference in just saying, I really want to lose some weight, versus saying, I will lose 10 pounds by March 1st. That is a goal that's measurable. You can measure those 10 pounds by March 1st. Number 3, goals must be realistic. Now, if your goals are completely unrealistic, then you're just setting yourself up for defeat. And that's a big discouragement. You've got to be realistic when you're setting a goal or a plan for your life. Let's just say, you know, maybe you set a goal to get closer to God. Well, and maybe you define that goal by, I'm going to start spending 3 hours a day with the Lord. Well, I don't know what you're spending right now, but for me, that would be unrealistic, because 3 hours to do nothing but just pray, or, you know, I don't have 3 hours. So you might have to break that up and say, you know what, I'm going to start spending 10 minutes every morning before I even go to work or go to school or whatever you do. 10 minutes every day, I'm just going to go in another room and spend that time in prayer, or reading the Word, or singing a song, or whatever you do to spend time with the Lord. That's a realistic goal. But the point is, do it consistently. Don't just do it for a week, do it consistently. Number 4, goals must have a deadline. You know, it's amazing how a deadline will cause you to work harder. A deadline actually creates a sense of urgency and it motivates you. I mean, I know when my sister and I were younger, my mom would tell us, to unload the dishwasher. So we would look at the clock and say, let's see if we can get it done in 4 minutes. And boy, that was the deadline. We had 4 minutes to get it done, and we do it. Why? Because there's a deadline. And they say the most productive day of the year is the day before vacation. Why? Because there's a deadline, and it's a good one. Well, a deadline creates that sense of urgency, and it keeps you motivated. So those are just some things, and I share in more detail in my book. But I wanted you to have those to just realize before you even start setting some goals, remember those 4 steps. So the first area that I began getting a plan for was in my faith. In other words, my relationship with God. Now, I knew that, my relationship with God is the most important thing in my life. And building a foundation in faith it's vital to overcoming everything in your life. In fact, listen to this from 1 John 5:4. It says, "For whatever is born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that overcomes the world, even our faith." So your faith is what you are going to have to overcome the world. It's going to take faith to overcome a hopelessness, depression, procrastination, laziness, sickness, soul ties. It's going to take faith to overcome those things. Well, how does faith come? Romans 10:17 tells us faith comes by hearing the word. Every time you hear the word, faith comes. So for me, I thought, okay, I have got to build my faith because I've got to overcome depression and misery and confusion and all these negative things that are pulling on me, my past. So I thought, well, if faith comes by hearing, then I need to set a goal to hear God's word more than ever before. So I got my hands on as many faith-building messages as I possibly could. Now, it's easy for you to do that. You don't have to, if you say, I don't have any faith-building messages, you don't even have to wait to go order some and wait for them to come in the mail. Now you can just get the MP3s. You can go to most Christian, websites and download messages immediately. So get your hands on as many faith-building messages as you can. And carry that iPod with you. Carry that CD player with you. Put one in your car. Put one in the bathroom. Put one in the kitchen. And just set a goal to start hearing God's word at some point in your day. Even if it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour. But do it consistently every day. Now, I want to continue teaching you how to get a plan for your life in other important areas that I've applied in my life. So be sure to join me next week because we're going to talk about getting a plan in your home life, in your family. So, thank you for watching, and I encourage you to get the new book, Make Your Dreams Bigger Than Your Memories.